by God that Shemi our prayer in the name of his loving so everything be done. Will of God, not my will, my God. First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21, prove all things, hold fast is good. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. So the topic of this live is the true choosing people of God. Because right now, as the world knowing there's people that claiming to be the chosen people of God, but they are not the chosen people of God. They call themselves Jewish and they call themselves Israeli, not Israelites. So, but they call themselves Israeli. They're not calling themselves Jews. They call themselves Jewish. So, and they claim to be the chosen people of God. The world knows that they are the chosen people of God. The world support them, especially the United States of America supported them. But prophecies in the Bible shows that at the end of the world, the last day, the choosing of people of God will not be supported. They will be hated by all men. So that's prophecy. Prophecies tell us that the chosen people of God will not be loved. They will be hated by all men. The prophecy foretold us that in these last days, the well chosen people of God will not be loved. They will be hated by all men. All men will be hated them, and they will be in captivity. They will be going to slavery. But as you see, the Jewish people, they're not hated by all men. The Jewish people are not in captivity. They're not being oppressed. Right? The Jewish people actually oppress other people. The Jewish people starting every war they ever had. Every war that they ever had, the Jewish people, the so-called Jewish people, start them. Every war that ever happened, the so-called Jewish people start them. So the Jewish people are actually the one causing trouble in the world. The so-called Jewish people are the one financing every evil thing that happened in the world. So the so-called Jewish people does not fit the prophecies in the Bible. So now, if you read the Bible, you see that none of the prophecies when you in regard to that people match the so. But if you read the prophecies match the so-called black people, so-called Hispanic people, the so-called Native American people. So the live today is about God choosing people. Who's the world God choosing people? Um, so I read the first scripture I read is Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21, for all things hold fast that which is good. So this is Jeremiah, Hosea, Malachi. This image is an old image, you know. So they so-called black people, right? And I'm gonna go through some of them, and I'm gonna go through scriptures also too. So Isaiah chapter 29, verse 22. Let's read this. Isaiah chapter 29, verse 22. Isaiah chapter 29, verse 22. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob will not be ashamed, neither will his face now wax pale. So now I show you a picture of a face of a black man, a single man whose face is wax pale. But Isaiah 29 is referring to the nation of Jacob, 12 tribes. So meaning that there's not going to be a nation that's going to replace Jacob, whose his face is wax pale. Right? The so-called Jewish people. So if I type Jewish in Google, let's see, Jewish. Google or not Bing or Google. It doesn't matter where you type. So let's see. See, this is the people that Google when you type Jewish shows. You know, people whose face is wax pale. Just like in this image where this so-called black man, his face is turning pale. Isaiah tell you that Jacob will not be ashamed, neither will his face now wax pale. So he's referring to the whole nation of Israel, not a single man. Jacob represents Israel. His name was changed to Israel, and then he has 12 sons, 12 tribes, so the whole nation of Israel. So the prophecy is that the nation of Israel, their face are not going to wax pale. And then when you go research for Jewish people, they supposed to be the son of Jacob. But the whole nation of the Jewish people, now their face wax pale. It doesn't matter what picture you look at, you see that their faces has wax pale. So, but the Bible, the reason why the Bible warns us of things and tell us in prophecies of things, because the Bible knows this thing was gonna happen. There are people there were gonna be a group of people who's gonna pretend to be Jacob, and they're gonna totally look different. And this is why the king or the president of Egypt said that the Jews left black and they came back white. They left black and they came back white, and then Israel will never be at peace because they left black and came back white. And then what he says stand truth. They have never been at peace. And then also that's a prophecy that God said he's gonna have war with Amalek, because these people, the true nationality are Amalekite, the son of Esau. Amalekite, the son of Esau. But we're gonna go through some of these scriptures and some image, and then just look in a picture for you to see that okay, whether these fake false Jews are the chosen people of God based on prophecies, or whether it be so-called black men, so-called black women, so-called Hispanic women, so-called Hispanic men, or so-called Native Indian. And also to if you follow my channel on TikTok, I have numerous videos, numerous pictures and images of what the chosen people of God look like, right? So like this one went viral, 150K view, but it should be more, this should have 1 million, but for some reason, TikTok has paused the video from continue to be, viral. So, because it was getting too much, views and so forth. But the chosen people of God is these so-called black people, so-called not all black people, but the black people that went to slavery. Um, let's continue. Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2. Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2. Let's go ahead and read this. This is from my website and then from my channel. So I'm not taking this information. This is information I research myself. I have books, I have books, and then I do a lot of research and study, and then just as I read to you, First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2, Judah mourning. He's in mourning, meaning that Judah is in oppressed, he's in captivity, and the gate thereof language, meaning that he has no leadership, he has no protection. Jacob has no protection. Judah is in mourning. Judah, as you know, is one of the son of Jacob. One of the son of Jacob is you have Reuben, Simon, Levite, and Judah. Judah is the fourth son of Jacob, fourth son of Jacob. So Judah and mourning mean that they've been oppressed. And the gate thereof language, they have no leadership, they have no gate, no protection. They are black unto the ground, meaning that they different shade of color. They come in different shade of color, like this image right there, right? They are black unto the ground. The ground. When you look at the ground is brown, right? From light brown to dark brown, from light brown to dark brown. When you look at the ground, from light brown to dark brown. That's why I say they are black onto the ground, meaning that the different shade of color, the deeper you dig in the ground, the darker it becomes. I know that for sure because I went back to my country and built a well. I was building a well for my uncle. And then as I'm digging the well with the people that we were digging, as we digging, it gets darker and darker and darker unless you find sand. If you find sand, then it will come gray, right? But if you don't find sand, the dirt itself, the soil itself is ground. And man is formed out of the dust of the ground. So if men is formed out of the dust of the ground, you know that when Jeremiah referred to, they are black unto the ground because men was formed out of the dust of the ground. So they are different shade of color, they are different shade of brown. So as this image showing you that from light brown to dark brown, light brown to dark brown, this blood is very light, and then this border is very dark, right? This border right here is very, very dark. It's the darkest one of all the other images, but he's still a dark brown. He's not black, but we call ourselves black. What you will see that later on in the chapter where King Solomon called himself, he says, I am black, but comely, but he daughter of Jerusalem, as the pen of Peter, as the curtain of Solomon. So there are different shade of color, but now because we went through captivities, right? You have Ephraim and you have Issachar, you have Naphtali, you have some of the other southern kingdom who mingled themselves with the other nation more than Judah, more than Levite, more than Benjamin, where their skin now become much lighter than of a brown because they mingled themselves with the other nation, right? They accepted the other nation and they married the other nation, and then they become much lighter than the northern kingdom. The northern kingdom is the other Jews, they're known as the Jews. The northern kingdom is three tribes. You have Judah, Benjamin and Levite. Judah, Benjamin, and Levite is the northern kingdom, and the southern kingdom is Ephraim, and then Naphtali, Gad, Issachar, and so forth, go down out of the other tribe, the southern kingdom. But Judah morning and the gate thereof language, they are black unto the ground, different shade of brown. Men was formed out of the dust of ground. So the fake Jews, they do tell you that the chosen people were black. They say, oh, we were black, but after living in Europe for 1,000 of years, we adapted to the nature, and then we evolved into white skin. That's what they tell you. So I've seen a lot of like not just normal Jewish people, scholars, but like so-called rabbi. I say so-called because nobody is rabbi; it's only Christ is the rabbi, right? So so-called rabbi of the Jewish people, when I see debate with the Hebrew Israelites, when they debate with the Hebrew Israelite, whether they're on the street, whether they're on live, they do accepted that Abraham was black, Noah was black, Shem, Japheth, all was black, the children people of God was black, but they tell you, and then when they ask them, then how they become white, how they become very pale now, and then what they tell you in the excuse is that after migrating to Europe for so long, they basically became white. So that's the argument. That's the argument. They accept that they were black because they cannot confound that because throughout the Bible you read about the black people was black, and throughout history, if you look at archaeology, you see that the chosen people of God were black. But now if they tell you that they turn white, but the Bible tell you that Jacob he's not going to wax his face will not wax spell. So God already tell you that even the so-called Jewish people tell you accepted that they were black, but they're gonna turn white because of nature. God already told you that nah, that's not gonna happen. God already told you that's not going to happen. Jacob face will now not wax spell. He's not gonna wax spell. He's not gonna turn so-called white people, right? Where they have no melanin and then their blood is showing through the skin. I already told you that's not gonna happen. So let's continue to read and then show more images. Exodus chapter 4, verse 6. Exodus is just to confirm that the first part of the lesson is just to confirm that God people is for black people. Even the so-called Jewish people accepted that, but the only again the argument is that after living in Europe for 1,000 years, they become white, which is not true. Exodus chapter 4, verse 6. I'm building the foundation. I'm building the foundation. Exodus chapter 4, verse 6. And the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now your hand unto your bosom. And he put his hand unto his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. I have an image up as an example, right? So this exactly what happened to Moses. God told in Exodus 4 chapter 6, God told Moses, put your hand into your bosom, right? God said, Moses, furthermore, put your hand into your bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. So when Moses took his hand out, as you see in the image, his hand was leprous as snow, meaning that he has no melon. God took his melon away as a miracle, right? Because that's a miracle. If I am already pale, like if I am already pale like these people, and then I put my hand in my bosom, and then now when I took it out, still pale, that's not a miracle. That does not sound like a miracle to me. But if I am dog bound, and then I put my hand in my bosom, and then I took it out, now I become white like this image is, that's a miracle. Now, all of a sudden, instantly, that my melon is gone away from me. The melon, the beautiful melon that God gave me, God removed it instantly. So that's a miracle, right? Which proved that Moses was a so-called black man. And then I have images to prove to you that Moses was a so-called black man from holographic in Egypt. Holographic in Egypt, right? Moses was a so-called black man. Let's continue to read. King Solomon. Song of Solomon. I created a video of this. This is a holographic image also too. This image you'll see in that this is not a paint by modern painting and so forth. This is a paint of King Solomon in Europe, right? So this is an actual painting of old age, like that was probably done in the 12, 1500s and so forth. King Solomon, and also too, I if you go to my YouTube, well, not my YouTube, but my King Solomon. I'm gonna play this. So I created a video from Song of Solomon, verse 1, verse 5, where King Solomon himself, I made him say the verse. So if you go to the channel and then you click on the video, you hear the video that was created. Solomon, Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. I am black, but comely, meaning that he's dark skinned but beautiful. Comely means beautiful. He's beautiful. I am black but comely, meaning that I'm beautiful. Or ye daughters of Jerusalem. Say, hey, you daughters of Jerusalem, I am dark skinned and I'm beautiful. He says that I'm so dark, I look as the tent of Kedah and as the curtain of Solomon. So if we type tent of Kedah, let's see what that looks like. So to show you how dark he was claiming that he was. So this is the tent of Kedah. You see how dark the tent of Kedah is? Let me click on one of them. So this is the tent of Kedah. So if the tent of Kedah is that dark, and King Solomon is referring to himself as that dark. He says, I'm that dark, but I'm beautiful. So King Solomon say, I am black, which is mean I'm dark skinned, but comely, but beautiful. Or he daughters of Jerusalem has the tent of Kedah. So we go to the tent of Kedah. This is an image of a tent of Kedah. And then to see how dark this tent is, right? So King Solomon is showing how dark he is. And then that's why when I have the depiction of King Solomon saying, I am dark but comely, or he does it. He was darker than the actual creation of this video, the image on the video. He was darker than that. And then even on this image that of King Solomon that was printed in the early 1500, right? Even this image does not tell how dark King Solomon was. And King Solomon was the grandfather of Christ. And this is why Revelation chapter 1, verse 13 all the way up to 15, where Christ is described as a very dark man with woolly hair, right? He was so dark, he seems like he was born in a furnace, right? So this is his grandfather. King Solomon, his great grandfather. King Solomon who's saying that I'm dark, I'm black, but comely, I'm black and beautiful, right? I'm black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, has the tent of Kedar, has the curtain of Solomon. So he says, my skin is dark, I'm beautiful. You daughter of Israel, right, has the tent of Kedar, which is a very, very dark tent. Look at this. It's very, very dark tent. Right? This is I'm so dark I look like as the tent of Kedar. Right? So King Solomon referred to himself, he's a very, very dark man, right? With woolly hair. Dark man with woolly hair. And King Solomon was the son of David, right, from Judah. So King Solomon was Judah. So when we read that Judah mourning, the gate are there of language, they are black unto the ground. Now we understand why King Solomon say he's so dark. Now we understand why King Solomon say I'm black but beautiful, right? Because he says they said that Judah mourning they are the gate day of language, meaning that they have no protection. They're in captivity, right? They are back into the ground. They just different shade of brown, dark brown, so they black but beautiful. So now you continue, and then also it says that uh, 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 um therefore thus say the Lord who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob will not now be ashamed, neither will his face wax pale. So he's not gonna turn white. He's not going to become a Jewish people. He's not going to become these people, right? Where their faces are wax fell. The whole nation of them is wax fell. So now it makes sense why King Solomon, you know, from the tribe of Judah, son of David, where he says, I'm black, which is my skin is dark, but comely, I'm beautiful, or he daughter of Jerusalem, has the tent of Kedar, as the curtain of Solomon. So the God people was a dark people, which also the so-called Jewish people come from. The so-called Jewish people come from that God people were black people. But the argument is they are the same of these people that were black and they become white because they live in Europe for so long, for over 1,000 years, they become white. They become white. Which doesn't make any sense at all. How many black people that live in a cold place for 1,000 years and never become. But these Jewish people only happen to you. Evolution only happened to you. Your skin suddenly become white. You were black first, now you become white. um, but so some of our people believe that, but the stupidity. Um, Job 30:30, and this is also a depiction of Job. This is a depiction of Job, and then also I have one I created on my TikTok channel, the True People of God. If you click on it, I created the one also to of Job. Let me see if I can find it. Let me go to popular video right here, Job 30:30. Job 30:30. Right? White people when white people tell you Job 30:30 when he says my skin is black upon me, meaning that he had leprosy. He had leprosy. He was just sick. It doesn't mean that he has black skin, but the thing literally say my skin is black upon me. It literally tell you that. It didn't tell you my skin is full of things and stuff like here's this white man comment. Like if you read the comment from white people, because white people hated that the fact that God choosing people, so-called black people, just the idea of it, even they know the truth, but to continue the lie, right? And then they'll continue. Like if you read that, even some of the black people too, you'll see the comment, but most of the hateful comments are coming from white people. On here, this is Job 30:30. So there's a depiction of Job right here in this image right here, Job sitting with the other two men that came to talk to him, or those three wise men, right? So if we type that, let's type Job 30:30 and then read the Job 30:30. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat. So when white people read this scripture, right, they tell you it means totally something different. It's not his skin was not black. He's not saying his skin is black, but he literally say my skin is black upon me. Just like King Solomon, who says that I am black but comely, right? I am black but comely. I am black but beautiful. Is again Jacob again another ancestor of King Solomon who say my skin is black upon me. This is a King Solomon ancestor who say my skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat. So, and we got an image of Job, and you know, so Job was a very dark man, as the Bible, as he say himself, my skin is black upon me. Black just means that he's very dark, like Christ was, like David was, like King Solomon was, right? So far we're reading scriptures of black people, like God choosing people are black people. So far we're reading scripture of that. And then here he's a semen that was called Niger or nigger, because it's an old Latin word. It's an old Latin word for nigger, and then they changed it and they added another G. Let's read that one too. So that's another scripture in the New Testament again. And Simon and Barnabas were Jewish, right? They also called Jewish. Acts chapter 13, verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called nigger. There are people that will say that no, it's not nigger, it's Niger or Niger. The country called Niger, that name was not put on that country until later on. There was never a country in so-called Africa that was called Niger. It was called Niger later on. But Niger just means black. Niger just means black. If you search the meaning of the word Niger, it's a Latin word which means black. And Lucius of Cyrene and Manaeni, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch and Saul. So Saul, which is Paul, Niger. So this prophet were called black men. This prophet were called black men. So here in another proof again, we have God people, which is now in the New Testament, that the prophet were called black men. So this is why these so-called Jewish people cannot deny that in the Bible, in the Torah, in the Tanakh, that God people were black people. But their claim is that now these black people that was God people is still them, but they, with through evolution, living in Europe for so long in a cold place, they turn white. They say they are we are yes, we were black, but now we white. And then this is why the Bible prophesied Jacob will not be ashamed, his face will not wax pale. Right? And then so we now know that the real Jews, the real chosen people of God were black people through the scriptures. Because the scripture tells you. And then now when we look at archaeology, holographics, right? This is the wall of Egypt. So if in the wall of Egypt you have these images, you have these images of, you see the tax master, and then you see the the Israelites, the God chosen people. You can see that they're depicted with woolly hair. They're depicted with woolly hair, which means tell you that these people were black people, but there are more images. There are more images. Here's Moses and Aaron passing through the Red Sea.